Since the beginning of the world, man has always been fascinated with the thought of flying like the birds and bats that surrounded him. In Greek mythology, Daedalus and his son Icarus escaped the prison of King Minos and flew away using wings like that of a bird. The great Renaissance thinker Leonardo da Vinci also dreamed of flying when he drew his sketches of gliders and man-powered ornithopters. Then eventually came the balloon. That was just a floating object in the sky. It wasn't really manned flight. Then came the Wright brothers, who shocked the world with their revolutionary Wright Flyer. Its first official flight was on December 17, 1903, in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Here's a look at the Wright Flyer. The Wright Flyer was 40 feet long, weighed 750 pounds, and had a 12-horsepower motor. From their 4 flights with it, the longest flight was 850 feet and lasted 59 seconds. World War I was a time of great trial and advancement in the world of aeronautics. It was the first time that many of the world's militaries got to try the new airplane in actual combat. Originally, it was just going to be used as an observation craft, to spy on enemy troop movements. But then pilots started to bring pistols and rifles into their aircraft to shoot at observation planes that passed by. This was a very crude method and usually didn't work, but occasionally a shot would hit the engine or fuel tank and cause the plane to burst into flame. There is even an account of a pilot named Lieutenant W.R. Reed, who after using up all his ammunition, grabbed his partner's pistol and threw it at the other plane. Then, after his honor was upheld, they flew on home. Because of the inconvenience of aerial combat, most countries were looking for a solution. The French were the first to find it. They took one of their normal observation planes and equipped it with a machine gun that fired through the propeller. To protect the propeller from stray bullets, they covered the back of the propellers with steel plates. Thus, the French solved the solution of aerial warfare with this crude method. On April 1, 1915, French pilot Roland Garros became the first ever fighter pilot when he took to the air and downed a German observation plane. Within 2 weeks, he had downed 4 more to set the precedent for an air race. On April 19, 1915, Garros was shot down behind enemy lines, where the Germans found out about the French's new weapon that had been downing observation planes. They salvaged what they could from it and took it to Dutch airplane manufacturer Anthony Fokker, who built the Germans their very first fighter plane. He also solved the problem of the machine gun hitting the propellers by timing it so the machine gun fired in time with the spinning of the propeller. The greatest German pilot of World War I was Baron Manfred von Richthofen, who was nicknamed the Red Baron by his British enemies for his brightly colored red fighter plane. The Red Baron quickly became the highest-scoring air ace in German history after registering his 16th kill in January of 1917. By 1918, he had registered 80 kills, but he got no more than that, because while chasing a British pilot close to the ground, he was shot down and killed. After World War I, many countries began to make advancements in the design of aircraft. Planes now had pressurized cabins instead of open cockpits. Planes were also made out of metal instead of wood and canvas. During the war, Sir Frank Whittle developed the first jet engine, which was first used in the Heinkel HE-178. The jet engine flew for the first time on August 24, 1939. However, the Heinkel never fought in combat. The first jet aircraft used extensively in combat was the Me-262. When Hitler took power, he immediately began to build an air force which he called the Luftwaffe. The Nazis' Luftwaffe's first main challenge was to bomb England. The main bomber for the Luftwaffe was the HE-111. Other bombers were used, but with little success due to lack of armor and/or speed. The main escort for the German bombers was the Messerschmitt Bf-109E. It was a nimble fighter with devastating firepower. The defenders from Britain's Royal Air Force were the Hurricane Mark I and the Spitfire Mark II. The Hurricane was a wood-framed, canvas-covered airframe. With its 8 machine guns, it packed a powerful punch. The Hurricane's main job was to take out the German bombers. The Spitfire was a quick and agile fighter that was evenly matched with the Messerschmitt Bf-109E. The Spitfire's job was to attack the bomber escorts, allowing the Hurricane to take out the unprotected bombers. The U.S. also had its fair share of good planes. The P-51 Mustang was the main fighter for U.S. pilots. It could fly higher than all other aircraft in the war and could travel long distances without refueling. The B-29 was the first aircraft with a pressurized cabin to enter service. It was originally designed to attack Germany from the United States, but due to the war ending in Europe, it attacked Japan instead. On August 6, 1945, the Enola Gay, commanded by Colonel Paul Tibbets, dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. After World War II, most countries saw the benefits of using jet engines. There was one problem though. Jet engines burned too much fuel too quickly. Pratt and Whitney solved this problem in 1948. They combined two jet engines, which had two compressors that spun on their own. Each compressor had its own turbine, with one in front of the other. This increased the engine's efficiency and gave the plane more speed and control. On October 14, 1947, Chuck Yeager was the first pilot to travel faster than the speed of sound, which is approximately 745 miles per hour. He then, in 1952, broke the record again by traveling 1,650 miles per hour, twice the speed of sound. The SR-71 Blackbird was and still is the fastest aircraft ever. It flew on the very edge of the atmosphere, going Mach 3. It was designed to fly over the Soviet Union and protect the U.S. from a nuclear attack. The addition of guided missiles allows pilots to shoot at enemies without even seeing them. This made radar a must on all aircraft. However, radar cannot track every plane. The F-117 was the first plane to have stealth. All the edges on it are irregular, causing radar to bounce off it in every direction. However, these edges made it very unstable during flight. The B-2 is another stealth bomber. It can deliver multiple types of bombs, from conventional to smart bombs and even nuclear bombs. It can penetrate the most advanced radar systems and deliver its payload anywhere in the world. The one drawback to the B-2 is that it has no vertical rudder, which causes instability while in the air. The F-22 is a Generation 5 aircraft that was made to replace the F-15. It is what the U.S. government calls an air superiority fighter. It is the first fighter to have stealth on its side. Its shape and paint help keep it undetected to the enemy while allowing it to take down multiple targets. The F-22 is a great plane, but it does have one drawback. It is extremely expensive. The F-35 is another air dominance Generation 5 Joint Strike Fighter. It can attack multiple targets on the ground and effortlessly switch to a top-notch stealth fighter. It also has a heads-up display which projects information on the pilot's helmet. This makes it easier for the pilot to see everything on the battlefield while keeping his head up. It is hard to believe that a little more than a century ago, the Wright brothers were testing the first aircraft ever, and now we have planes like the F-22 and F-35. What will aircraft designers think of next?